Now, what did you say after that? Oh, they made signs, and I asked you what was significant about that.
Not allowed to speak.
Expand that idea. No.
They didn't speak the same language.
Oh, I like this crowd.
Not only the same language, but probably hundreds of different languages even.
So what's going on? They are not able to speak a common language. Now, that doesn't say that in some instances they weren't able to understand one another, or they weren't able to understand a regionalism that was close to what they knew and could identify. But in many, many instances, they did not. And the indication here is they made signs of joy. They didn't say, Junior, there's land, let's get happy. They didn't say that. So the suggestion is they're making signs to them because they're not speaking the same language. Move on, young lady.
We did not know what to think of this, but as the vessel drew nearer, we plainly saw the harbor.
Stop. We didn't know what to think about this. They're laughing and they're talking about how wonderful it is. How many times has anyone ever told you about trusting your enemy? We didn't know what to think about this. Was it good for us, or was it just good for them? We didn't know. Move on.
But as the vessel drew nearer, we plainly saw the harbor and other ships of different kinds and sizes.
Sloops, schooners.
And we soon anchored amongst them off Bridgetown.
So where are we? Bridgetown, which is where? Barbados. All right, go ahead.
Many merchants and planters now came on board, though it was in the evening.
Stop. Why are the merchants coming on board? Why didn't they take them out? Why didn't they take them out of the ship and put them in the harbor? Why didn't they take them?
Have a disease they could take to the shore.
Well, indications are that they would have been very careful to cover as much as possible with oils and with salves and everything else. But there's something that's also happened. Natural selection has taken place. When someone asks me about the strength and the character and the longevity of Africans, it was the strength and character of the strongest that allowed them to survive and even be there. But you're absolutely right. Smallpox and other kinds of diseases, they would have tried to, as much as possible, cover so that they were ready for sail. But the major thing they would have done toward the beginning of the journey or toward the end of the journey, which one do you believe they would have given them more food, given them less severe beatings, given them more water, exercised them more toward the beginning of the journey or the end of the journey? And why the end?
They're getting closer.
Merchandise.
And I'm not wasting my money on something that's not going to survive. Okay? Go ahead.
They put us in separate parcels and examined us attentively.
What are they looking for, y'all?
People to work in the
Well, we already know some of the things they're looking for. Diseases. What else are they looking for? Strength. What else are they looking for? So you know what the ship captains did? Got oil. Put oil on their body. I saw last night the commercial. It was not one commercial. Yes, it was. It was a commercial on, what's the movie with Nicole Kidman and
Australia.
Yeah, Australia. Oh man, they had Hugh slicked up. You know, if you think about First Blood or any of the rest of them, what's the first thing they do with Sylvester Stallone? Slick him up, grease him up. Arnold Schwarzenegger, slick him up, grease him up. Same thing, even back then. grease them in some way, make them look as good as possible. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
They also made us jump and pointed to the land, signifying we were to go there.
Uh-huh.
We thought by this we should be eaten by these ugly men as they appeared to us.
Mm-hmm.
And when
Stop. Colonial Williamsburg. Training. Asking the interpreters if there's anybody who's had any difficulty talking about slavery, the ones who talked about it. Most of them didn't want to say anything about it, but a few of them were talking about it. So one guy said, well, I had a situation that really angered me. And I said, what was it? He said, well, he was over the windmill. We have this huge windmill at Colonial Williamsburg. It's an icon now. They're talking about moving it, about taking it down. I'm glad I ain't there because the news media is going to go crazy over that one. Anyhow, at this windmill. And they used to, when they demonstrated the windmill, they used to actually take people up into the windmill and show them how they ground corn and wheat or whatever it was. Well, they would take groups of 6 or 7 up in the place, and when groups that were school groups came, the kids would go up in there, and the teachers would talk to them and have the Master Miller talk to them about the mechanisms and how it worked. Well, this guy says one day a teacher went up there, and the teacher said, okay, now, I want all my masters on this side, and I want all my slaves on this side. Tell me the worst thing she could have done. Tell me the worst thing she could have done. She cast by race. How much presence of mind would it have been to simply reverse the roles if she wanted to do some teaching? She didn't do that. He said that we should be eaten by these ugly men as they appeared to me. When people came to Colonial Williamsburg from New Jersey and other places, and the natives went from one place to another, we knew where all the roads were. We knew how to get through the town. But people with outside license plates never knew. So we developed ethnocentricity. We'd say things like, oh, I was late to work today because I was behind somebody from Paramus, New Jersey. Now, I would imagine only 5 people came from Paramus, New Jersey during the entire time of their career at Colonial Williamsburg. But it became a thing around Williamsburg. Anybody was late? Yeah. Somebody from Paramus? Yeah. For them, just as for us, Paramus was the stereotypical negativity that we connected to anybody who didn't know their way around. These people, these Africans, saw Europeans and thought they looked as ugly as the Europeans thought the Africans did. A teaching moment. Yes, sir.
And it's true of the Native Americans, too. Looking at a teaching about 3 years that the author, but they described included accounts of the media, too. The Native Americans described the Indians as Europeans from the
Perspective. And that's what we should be about. Helping our guests understand perspective. Not telling them what to think, but providing them with perspective. What do you think? Did she do a good job? Let's give her a hand.